On a cold Sunday afternoon, something happens in Chicago. The city stops, restaurants fill, bars overflow, televisions turn on, families gather, thousands of people put on their navy and orange jerseys and make their way toward Soldier Field. For 3 hours, nothing else matters. Not the bills, not the taxes, not the crime, not the struggling schools, not the potholes, not the CTA delays, not the stress of everyday life. For 3 hours, Chicago gathers around a football game. And maybe there's nothing wrong with that. Human beings need entertainment. We need something to cheer for. We need moments that bring us together. But recently, a question has been bothering me, a question worth billions of dollars, a question that could reshape Chicago forever. Why are the Chicago Bears asking for a new stadium? And more importantly, who should pay for it? Before we answer that question, let me ask you another. If I told you that one of the most valuable sports franchises in America was asking for public help, what would you expect? A struggling franchise? A team losing money? A business on the verge of bankruptcy? Maybe, but that's not the Chicago Bears. The Chicago Bears are worth around $8 billion. Every year they generate hundreds of millions of dollars in revenue. But before a single ticket is sold, before a single car enters a parking lot, before a single hot dog is purchased, the Bears receive $400 million each year from a national television contract they have with the NFL. Then comes in streaming revenue, corporate sponsorships, advertising, merchandising, concessions, parking and ticket sales. The money flows from every direction. In total, the Bears gross around $630 million each year, yet operating profits is only $80 million. Why? Because running an NFL team is expensive. The players' salaries alone approach $280 million each year. Then you have the coaches, scouts, travel, security, marketing, administration, and other operating costs. All these expenses add up. So let's be fair. If a new stadium costs $4 to $5 billion, can an NFL owner write the check alone? Is that a legitimate question? But there's another legitimate question. If the Bears generate millions of dollars in profits each year, why should Illinois taxpayers foot the bill for a new stadium? And then I discovered something else, something that surprised me. The Bears haven't exactly been dominating the NFL. Since 1990, 270 wins and 311 losses, a winning percentage of roughly 46%. Think about that. For more than 3 decades, the Bears have lost more games than they have won, yet the franchise is worth $8 billion. How is that possible? Now compare that to another NFL franchise. The New England Patriots won 6 Super Bowl championships under owner Robert Kraft. Their organization became one of the greatest dynasties in professional sports. And when it came time to build a new stadium, Kraft largely financed Gillette Stadium himself. That raises another question. If the Patriots were able to build a stadium while winning championships, why are the Bears asking for public assistance after decades of mostly losing seasons? Maybe Bears fans have a different answer. Maybe economists have a different answer. Maybe stadium financing is more complicated than that, but it is a fair question to ask. And perhaps we should stop treating this story as if it's entirely the fault of politicians. Every time the Bears talk about leaving Illinois, fingers immediately point toward Springfield, toward City Hall, toward Democrats, toward Republicans. But the Chicago Bears are not a public service. They are not a charity. They're not a government agency. The Chicago Bears are a private business, a very successful private business. And most private business owners don't receive billions of dollars in public assistance when they want to expand. The restaurant owner doesn't get it. The grocery store doesn't get it. The barber, the mechanic, all these family-owned businesses do not receive public assistance. So perhaps the question is not why won't politicians give the Bears what they want? Perhaps a better question is why should taxpayers help finance a larger stadium for a private business. That doesn't mean the Bears are wrong. That doesn't mean politicians are right. It simply means the public deserves to have the conversation. Because once taxpayers' dollars become involved, the debate belongs to all of us. Maybe football isn't really about football anymore. Maybe it's about business. Maybe it's about television. Maybe it's about media rights. Maybe it's about real estate. Maybe it's about development. Maybe it's about money. The Bears currently pay around $6.5 million per year to lease Soldier Field, but taxpayers are still paying for renovations completed back in 2003. Those renovation costs were $400 million. More than 20 years later, debt from that project still remains. Think about that. Many of the people paying those taxes today were children when that renovation happened. Some weren't even born yet. And now another stadium is being discussed. Another project worth $2 to $4 or $5 billion more. A dome, luxury suites, restaurants, retail space, entertainment districts, more revenue, more profit, and possibly more public participation. At some point, taxpayers naturally begin asking, didn't we already do this? Now let's be fair. The Bears do create economic activity. Hotels benefit, restaurants benefit, Uber and Lyft drivers benefit, parking garages benefit, workers benefit. Some estimates suggest Bears games generate roughly $100 million per season in surrounding economic activity. That is real money. No reasonable person should deny that. But let me ask you something. What if we had $2 billion, $3 billion, or $4 billion? What else could Chicago build? Imagine modernizing public transportation. Imagine replacing lead water pipes. Imagine building more affordable housing. Imagine neighborhood development. Imagine property tax relief. I think you hear me now. Imagine mental health clinics. Imagine helping young people before they fall through the cracks. Imagine investing in people who already live here. What would that city look like? I don't know, but I think it's worth asking because public money reflects public priorities. Where we spend more money reveals what we value, and where we invest tells future generations what mattered to us. The ancient Romans had a phrase, bread and circuses. Provide food, provide entertainment, keep people occupied, keep people distracted. Today, the circus looks different. It comes in high definition. It comes with giant scoreboards, fantasy football, luxury boxes, television contracts, streaming, subscriptions, corporate sponsors, and a $1 billion franchise. Again, there's nothing wrong with enjoying sports. I enjoy sports. Millions of people do. But perhaps we should ask ourselves a difficult question. What if we cared about our communities as much as we care about our teams? What if we debated education the way we debate football? What if we followed city budgets the way we follow draft picks? What if we studied public policy the way we study statistics? What if we showed up for our neighborhoods the way we show up for game day? What kind of city would we build? Perhaps the Bears stay. Perhaps they leave. Perhaps Indiana wins. Perhaps Illinois finds a way to keep them. In the end, that may not be the most important question. The more important question is this: what are we building? Because a city is more than a stadium, more than a scoreboard, more than a franchise. A city is its people, its families, its workers, its teachers, its small business owners, its children, its future. Long after the final whistle blows, long after the stadium lights go dark, long after the owners move on, we will still be here, living, working, raising families, trying to build a better future. And maybe, and just maybe, that is the game that matters most. My name is Jamal. What do you think? Please comment below and please subscribe. Join the conversation so your voice can be heard. You have the power to say where your tax dollars should go. Thank you. I wish you well. Bye-bye.